Welcome back, everybody, to Super Week here in North America, and I'm Jat, here joined by SaintVicious, who just had a resounding victory over Velocity. I'd say that game went pretty well for you guys. Do you want to talk about it a bit?
Okay. I don't know, like everything just worked out, and Jackie got some good TPs off, and I don't know, just felt like everything went pretty smoothly.
Yeah, and that's the second win in a row you guys have had here in Super Week. First day you had that really tough win. Today it was a little closer, and then you have TSM, CLG, and Coast coming up next. How are you positioned to take on those three teams?
TSM's kind of been our scrim partner for the past 3 weeks, so we both know each other like really well, and I think we're pretty close together as far as teams go, skill-wise. Okay. So I think it's going to be really anybody's game, and I don't know. I think CLG we're okay with, and Coast, of course, we'll see at the end of the week. Yeah, and Coast is the team who, coming into this week, you guys were in direct competition with because you were both tied for that 6th and final playoff spot. But with their 0-2 record yesterday and your 2-0 record thus far, you guys are 2 games up on them. How does that make you feel as you go into the rest of the split, and what do you think your chances are to make it into the playoffs against them? I mean, our chances are pretty good, but I still would rather earn the spot myself by winning the games rather than like, oh yeah, they lost the games, because we still got to go into playoffs and we still got to perform there. So I just don't want to be complacent. And how's your momentum feeling like this split? Because in the last split, you guys started amazingly, 8-0, got the bye in the playoffs, but then ended up finishing 4th, which wouldn't even get you into Worlds this year. But this year, it's been a totally different story. Do you want to talk about that a bit? We started off really strong at the beginning of last split because we were one of the teams that didn't even make it into the LCS. We're like, damn, we got to practice a lot to like make it in the league. And all the other teams were taking breaks, I guess. So I think we just got way more practice in. And I think the same thing happened to Cloud9. Like, they weren't in the league yet and they had to qualify for it, so they just practiced a ton during the off season, and I think that's one of the reasons why they perform really well too. Okay, and then coming into this split, do you think maybe there was some complacency in the reason you guys started so slowly, or what do you think contributed to that as compared to the first split where you started so well? Yeah, I think like a lot of people went on vacation. I went and did All-Stars, and we just didn't get like quality practice in. We had Edward to join the team. He had to like work him in, get all the synergy going. So I think it's just like a lot of building up. Yeah, and then also something people don't always know is you have Liquid, who's at the studio every week with you, and he's your manager. Recently, I actually had an interview with Jack, who is Cloud9's owner and manager. What does Liquid do for your team? He's kind of our coach and mediator. You know, he's like, you think one way, he thinks the other, and he also like gets us a lot of sponsorships. Like he just like picked up Nissan for us, which is a really big deal. Cause you want to talk about that a bit? Yeah, it's like really big deal I think for esports because I think it's the first time the esports team or player has been sponsored by a car brand or like a blue chip company like that. And like we're doing the yourdoortomore.com thing with them, and we're also like partnering up on a lot of other things. So I think once companies like that get into esports and like other companies start saying, it's like, oh, Nissan's in there, like Ford or any other company is going to be like, wow, we need to get in on this. So, exciting times for esports. Yeah, so good on Nissan for paving the way. Yeah, and as you guys move into the rest of the season, talking maybe a bit about your improvement thus far, you have been maybe heckled a little bit about some smites at some point in this year. How are you dealing with those issues, not even just with smiting, but with the game in general as you're trying to improve with Curse? I mean, I've been playing the game for a long time, so I get a lot of grief, you know? Yeah. So I think the most important thing is just be more concerned about what my team thinks and just make sure that we play good together. I think I've definitely sharpened up my performance a lot recently. Like I wasn't playing that good at the beginning of the season, so I just kind of like took a step back, looked at what everybody else is doing, and then like tried to put my play style into it. So what did you see when you looked at everyone else when you took that step back to try to improve? I mean, the way you win the game now is you just push towers and like sit and hold and things like that. And my play style before was really gank oriented, and I want to make big plays, and that's just not the meta that wins the game right now. And coming in with the final question to go off of that, with the recent changes we just saw in 310, Runic Bulwark being removed, Aegis of the Legion, I noticed in that game, Velocity actually had a double AP composition, but you didn't build an Aegis or even upgrade into Locket. Do you want to talk about that change a bit? Well, Locket's only 20 MR, which is, it's like whatever, it's not that much for the investment. I would rather get a Spirit Visage, get the CDR, and get a massive amount of MR and health and just stack that. Like I think it's, if your jungler is like a serious threat, it's a lot better than, oh look, you got 20 extra MR on everybody. So I like that. I like that style a little bit better. So I'm actually a little glad Bulwark's I like that style too as a jungler. Thank you very much, Saint, for the interview. Best of luck as you guys try to win your way into the playoffs, and best of luck on your way to Worlds as well. But we got plenty more Super Week action coming up. Let's send it back to the guys.